1, 2, Jimmy's coming for you. 3, 4, Tommy, shut the door. Hey there, Pastor Tommy McMurtry. What's wrong? You seem a little spooked. I'm Mr. Atheist. Let's do this. For nearly daily atheist content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you ring that bell. Speaking of nearly daily atheist content, I know we've just talked about this for the last 2 videos and earlier this month. We're not done with these clowns. We are going to talk more, but I will tell you there will be more content this week than just focusing on the NIFB. But there will also be more content focusing on the NIFB in the weeks to come. I actually wasn't planning on doing a video of this today, but then this weekend happened and Tommy put up a couple of videos and I thought I'd like to share those with you. Now here's a quick recap of what has gone on so far. So the Make America Straight Again conference is a conference that is happening in Orlando, Florida on the anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting and to mock the Pulse nightclub shooting. To be clear, this is being put on by the NIFB. These are basically Baptists that have formed a new cult based on Baptism. They made a video promoting that conference and it had inciting to violence language toward people who are in the LGBTQ plus community, or as you know, I prefer now to call the GRSM community. And that video was successfully taken down. Now this group is a hate group that is kind of their whole goal, is wanting to get the GRSM community essentially destroyed from the world. It is very much an advocacy for genocide. So Pastor Tommy McMurtry made this whole video where he tried to clap back. He tried to call me out and he labeled me Mr. Pumpkin because a pumpkin is the biggest fruit in the world, which is actually a jackfruit, but that doesn't matter here. And then we decided to mobilize and hit back, and we've been doing some things like experimenting with SEO relating to these individuals. That's search engine optimization. Also, let me say a tremendous thank you to all of you who have put pumpkin emojis in your Twitter handle and your Twitter name. That's been amazing. We've been having some of this fight over on Twitter. We've also been exposing other people who have hateful accounts that are advocating for either killing or for GRSM people to kill themselves. That kind of stuff's been going on Twitter. If you didn't know, I'm on Twitter at dearmratheist, and I do suggest you follow, change your name to one with a pumpkin emoji, and do something with the hashtag pumpkin posse. Now, as far as today goes, a couple more videos went up. And funny enough, one of them has already come down. One went on the Liberty Baptist Church YouTube, the other one on Tommy McMurtry's personal YouTube page, which I assume he thought I wouldn't see, even though he talks about me once again. And what I see here is a lot of overcompensating. What I see here is a lot from Tommy of fear. Tommy is trying to convince his audience that we can't do anything, that we can't cripple them in any way, despite the fact that we have already affected them financially and their web reach in significant ways. So I want to show you a few excerpts from these videos. We're going to start with the first one that came out and then the second one that comes out in reaction to him losing that first video in his clap back to being censored, which he is very not happy about.
This is going to be great. We have been getting just a ton of free advertisement from people on this. I mean, this thing is getting big. And
yeah, it really isn't. This is something they are trying to do. This is where that overcompensation comes from. And this, to me, is one of the more significant pleas for us to stop. What he is clearly trying to suggest here is that by us exposing them for the disgusting people that they are, that has turned into more people are going to attend. And it just isn't true.
Be there at that event. It's probably going to be standing room only. We're kind of concerned about how big these crowds are probably going to be.
What I suspect this means is actually it's going into one of their churches where they usually put chairs down, and they're now saying they're going to have to lift the folding chairs, which big fucking whoop.
At the same time, I want everyone to know we are not trying to make gay people straight. I agree with the gays that they can't be fixed on that. All right.
So basically what he's reacting to is that the conference is called Make America Straight Again. And he's saying they're not implying that we want to take gay people and make them straight. And he says he agrees with us that we can't be fixed. But the reason why I say we can't be fixed is because we're not fucking broken. So you don't agree with us. Stop trying to group in with us, bro. I know you've been trying to slide in closer to me. It's just not going to work.
I've been accused of advocating violence against LGBT. And that's ridiculous. I've never advocated for violence against anyone. I do not.
So remember that he just said that. He says very clearly, I have never advocated for violence against the LGBT. Please hold on to that, because wouldn't it be just so embarrassing for him if before the video was over, he did it again? But first, he'll take it another direction. Check this one out.
Unless it's self-defense, but that's not illegal. All right. If one of them are trying to molest you, like they often do, rape or whatever, then
like they often do. This community of people that he keeps showing time and time again, he has no fucking clue about. He just enjoys being wrong. He can't actually demonstrate these things, as though that is our common go-to. As a member of the GRSM, how would I let a person know I like them without molesting them? This is a ridiculous narrative that is built on nothing, just how they think things would be, how they expect it must be, and their interpretation of what the Bible says it must be. They love these people to be completely wrong. But don't worry, in the next video, which is very short, he'll actually talk about how right they are all the time. It's pretty laughable.
I do think it's good that we remind people what government is actually for. It is for the punishment of evildoers.
I mean, government is for a tremendous amount more than that, but I guess you could say the judiciary branches, that is what they need to do. However, we have a set of standards that we make those laws, and they aren't actually Bible-based. They are more often based in humanism, though don't get me wrong, sometimes they slip some biblical laws in, as we've been seeing happening with abortion a lot lately, and those would be actually things the evildoers, as you call them, are doing. Anyway, what was your point?
So people who are, LGBTQ, HIV, whatever.
Oh, isn't that so cute that you tried to lump us in with HIV? It's like you're so original and just so smart and stuff. I can see why you're so into me, because I'm just so in your dreams, Tommy.
They are evildoers. They should be punished. And it's important that we remind our government about what they are there for and what their job is.
Yeah, you're still approaching this from the thing of it being evil, and you can't actually demonstrate it to be evil, because it's evil based on the standard of a God that you believe your interpretation, which is based on the King James Bible, which is interesting since King James was bisexual. Moving back, though, to this whole thing, once you can actually adequately demonstrate your God exists and doesn't just get your dick hard as you're hateful toward people, then we could have the discussion about what he thinks is evil and whether or not that actually makes it evil. However, you don't. You don't have a leg to stand on. You guys deny science in every way, at every corner you absolutely can. Oh, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about that more in the next video. What's important here is he is saying that a punishment should come to people for being LGBTQ, or like I said, I prefer GRSM. So Tommy McMurtry, what kind of punishments do you think they deserve? Mr. I have never advocated for violence.
Sodomy and things of those nature, those should be considered crimes. Now, our government tomorrow could just declare that murder is no longer a crime. It's still bad. It should still be punished by death. I don't care what.
Yeah, being gay and murder is not remotely close to the same thing. With murder, you have taken somebody else's life. With being gay, you've just improved their life a lot. And murder has to do with taking away consent from somebody in what is perhaps the most significant way one can do it. That is not the case with the GRSM community, despite you trying to insist that it is. You're just wrong. In fact, first and foremost to the GRSM would be consent.
But I have never condoned violence, nor any preacher friend that I have ever condoned violence against any group of people. That's just a lie that they love to tell.
So remember, he's calling me a liar now. He's saying that because he's talking about me, and he'll do it a little more directly here soon, especially in the next video. He's saying I'm a liar, and again, wouldn't it be so embarrassing if later in this video he just, advocates for violence? First, he'll do this bit, which is hilarious.
And, I've never heard anyone accuse executioners of, being these violent criminals. And,
Wow, that's interesting. I did not know you went this far in life without hearing about the Holocaust. Yeah. A lot of times, executioners when they have been in a situation where they are clearly in the wrong, which by the way, there are many people, including myself, that are entirely opposed to the death penalty. So it wouldn't actually just have to be those extreme cases, but certainly executioners in the Holocaust were doing what their government asked of them, and they were evil executioners for doing so. As were, first and foremost, perhaps even more evil, were the people who advocated for that to happen in the first fucking place. And I know, here goes Jimmy comparing them to Nazis, but it's just so easy. What with them being so much like Nazis?
Or even accusing our government of just being these violent people because they execute criminals. I know it's pretty rare.
You've never heard of people accusing our government of being violent? You live under a rock, sir. We are having many discussions about the violence of our government, whether it has to do with unjustified wars or the fact that anybody can just buy war machines and massacre people with them.
There's only so they can't do anything to you online, and most of them are too scared to do anything in person.
I'm glad he brought up this point that we can't do anything to people online. And again, I'm not advocating for any actions. I'm not telling you to do anything, but www.tommymcmurtry.com. If you were performing that search engine optimization experiment, you should know that doing it just the first day is not good enough. And we have just added hundreds of new pictures and submissions to tommymcmurtry.com, which in no way is associated with Pastor Tommy McMurtry or the Liberty Baptist Church. So for those of you who disagree that anything can be done online, who would like to see that, make sure you go consume some of the material, maybe share some of the material out, and especially send out links, link back in blogs, in Twitter, on Facebook, on Reddit, link to that website, link to this video, link to the other videos with those kinds of names. And we can control some search engine optimization as a demonstration that Tommy McMurtry is incorrect in his assertion that nothing can be done online. As for the in-person thing, it seems like you're saying like that we're wusses because we don't want to come beat you up, even though I'm 250, 6'2", and you look like you are, 5'5" and 130 pounds soaking wet. But my side does actually prefer nonviolence, which you've been claiming yourself that you, through this whole video, prefer nonviolence too, that you don't advocate for any kind of violence. So I'm not quite sure what this point is. If you're talking about if in person I would call you out on your shit, you better fucking believe it. Doesn't mean I'll extend my platform to you, but if I ever run into you in a Starbucks, yeah, you'll hear from me. He probably doesn't drink at Starbucks because he thinks Frappuccino is too gay a word. And it kind of is. Anyway, one more stop before he doesn't make that embarrassing turn and advocate for violence one more time. This one's pretty funny to me. Do you remember that he talked about how he so easily moderated the comments that there just weren't that many people doing it, and so he could just do it easy breezy and we're not all that scary because there's just not that many of us? Well, real embarrassing here for you, buddy.
I have to do... I've had to set my channel to where I have to approve all comments. And it's pretty funny because I have it set to where all the comments have to be approved.
Aw, and here I thought we couldn't do anything to you online. Funny that. Anyway, quick reiteration, never called for violence, has never suggested violence, never, 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 except for this time.
Nobody's saying they're never around, but there was a time when society, when our country saw them for what they were and they put them in their place. 6 feet under. So you implied it at the beginning of the video. You've now outright said it at the end of the video. You believe that the appropriate response to being homosexual is government sanctioned, mind you, genocide. Are you unfamiliar with the idea that genocide is violent? Do you not understand that that is a violent action? Do you not understand what violence is? Do you think that violence is only violent if it's illegal? Yeah, it is violence. And you're a douche for suggesting it. You're a douche for trying to influence people to get that approved. And here's the thing, TommyMcMurtry.com. I'm kidding. That website is in no way associated with Pastor Tommy McMurtry or the Liberty Baptist Church. You won't succeed. You've lost. We've won. We've defeated you because we were right and because we were doing this for love. Don't get me wrong. I'm still capable of hate. I'm not very fond of you. But you are the dying breed here. And you'll die of natural causes because we're not going to advocate for the same kind of bullshit you are. But you have lost and you're clearly shooketh. But then this video we just reviewed, got taken down for some of the things you said. And by the way, it was a little quick for me. I would have preferred to do my review against the live video. Luckily, the internet exists and people are amazing and they had a copy of this for me. But let's see the reaction that Pastor Tommy McMurtry had that in no way conveys that he is clearly shooketh
by UF.
Had another video removed by YouTube because some snowflakes got offended.
It's really ironic to me that the people who call others snowflakes think that their critics are being too sensitive when they are advocating for all of their critics to die. They are so intimidated by our existence. They are so fearful of our existence, they need our existence to cease. Which, if you ask me, is a much more radical type of censorship than having person removed from a platform for them violating the terms of service, which they absolutely did. You have no entitlement to set that terms of service.
Their feelings hurt again. And it's just kind of funny. I was watching a video of one of these big fat fruits.
Hey, I think he's talking about me. It's funny. None of that is an insult to me. I am large in stature. I am a big person. I'm quite hefty. Fat is adequate, and fruit, you better goddamn believe it.
Celebrating the fact that one of my videos had gotten taken down. He's like, we did it. Like,
we sure did. And we're closing in on your whole channel, bro. That's why you put this on a different channel. But here's a little secret. Once you get banned from YouTube, it's you, the individual. And once that happens, this channel goes to...
We won this victory. And I find it interesting the way these people push censorship the way that they do.
Well, it depends on the person. I've had a tremendous number of people who have disagreed with me censoring you. But once again, you've already proven you are pro-censorship to the point that you would murder people you disagree with. Sorry, you wouldn't murder. You would just support the government murdering them, you snowflake.
Because it's clear that when it comes to the Christian versus atheist debate, we win every time.
You can't even win the Christian versus Christian debate. Y'all can't even get one set level of this is what Christianity looks like. Do you know what the spectrum of Christianity is? It's ridiculous. I know people who are as wonderful people as you are a garbage person, and they are Christian. Christian versus Christian doesn't succeed. And if you think Christianity versus atheism is one, holy shit. Christianity will never win because it will never make its case without appeals to faith.
I mean, Brother Matt Powell literally made one of these atheists cry.
First of all, his name is Brother Cupcake. I will only call him Cupcake, and I am not aware of him actually making an atheist cry. Now, if Brother Cupcake successfully put somebody and made them just really, really flustered, and they didn't have a very good debate performance, that doesn't really matter. Now, the only debate I've seen with Brother Cupcake was actually against a guy who was on the Atheist Experience in the past called Russell. And Russell's actually a friend of mine, and Russell wiped the absolute floor with him and demonstrated that this stuff Matt Cupcake was spouting, that he didn't even know what he was talking about. The guy was Cupcake was trying to use a book from Richard Dawkins where he would quote a part in the book that if you read the rest of the quote, Richard says, by the way, this is a bait and switch. Like, this is to try and get people to say it. And he just does it. The guy does not know what he's talking about. He is so scientifically illiterate that if he happened to have a better performance based on theater, which I haven't seen the debate you're talking about, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that maybe something like that happened, that doesn't matter.
And they are dependent on censorship, and they will continue pushing censorship because that is the only hope they have of winning.
Yeah, no, as far as the dependent on censorship thing, I am an advocate for enforcing these terms toward people who are as hateful, douchey, and advocate for violence as you do, as has already been shown in this video. Those rules I have to follow, and so you definitely have to follow them too. And when you have taken being such a piece of shit to a goddamn near art form, I lose no sleep at night making sure that the propaganda arms that you are trying to extend and exploit, that they are crippled, that you can't do it as well. But keep in mind, you're the first people I went after this way. Go look at my channel. Go look at the people I disagree with. Go look at the people I think have disgusting views. You're the ones I took down because you took it too goddamn far. You have shown that you reject your own humanity, that you reject people, and that you have no desire to love because love doesn't get you that feeling, that rush you get from preaching and hearing a bunch of people agree with you. You, sir, are garbage.
Our side is creaming these people.
It would be in such poor taste to repeat that clip like 5 times in a row.
Our side is creaming these people, is creaming these people, is creaming these people, creaming.
Yep, I was right. That was low class.
I just don't do it. I'm not full of debate like most reprobates, but yet at the same
I'm not full of debate like most retrobates. You know what you do for a living, right? Sure, you're not having a back and forth, but I don't really do those either. So if I'm, as a retrobate, full of debate, what the fuck does that make you?
same time, I can easily kick their rears to the point that they have to go crying to YouTube begging for more censorship.
Aren't you literally crying to an audience of people about how you've been so unfairly mistreated for breaking the rules that were laid out that you couldn't just simply fucking follow? But it's funny that you say you can easily wipe the floor with us, because here I am. I'm under your skin, Tommy. You can scratch and scratch and scratch. That's not going to get me out. Anyway, he ends this out with this gem of wisdom.
And they will be begging for censorship because there will be no answer to what we will be giving coming up in Orlando. So God bless. We will talk to you later.
Do you really think you're going to come up with something new? Do you think you have some new Christian answer to homosexuality? Do you think you have some new proof of your side? I'm ready. I'm so ready. You know who's not ready? You, because you think this is over. Let me tell you this, Tommy. We're almost done with you because we have bigger fish to fry, but this is not over. It's far from over. Good luck with these words you're going to spew at your hateful conference that you're positive are just going to leave us in silence. Good luck leaving us in silence ever. You can't. We're better than you. We're better people than you are. And we're not in the right because we have God in our side, because we feel it in our hearts. We're in the right because we can demonstrate it. We're in the right because we're in the right. You're in the wrong. You are the liar here. You are the hateful maggot here. You need to go jerk off and stop being such a little creep. Good luck there, Tommy. I'll see you at the next one. And don't forget, Tommy McMurtry really doesn't want you to hit that subscribe button. So for nearly daily atheist content, why don't you go ahead and show it to Tommy? Relevant links can be found below, including a link to TommyMcMurtry.com, which is a website no way associated with Pastor Tommy McMurtry or the Liberty Baptist Church. It is a website covered in sexy humanoids with pumpkin heads. And we will have just added hundreds of submissions when you see this. Links to support the channel can be found below. Things like Patreon, things like PayPal. A lot of PayPal funds recently are going toward actually funding some of the AdWords and little bits of boosts to certain posts. If you want to help out, you can do so at the PayPal below. If you want to do it as more of a monthly recurring thing, obviously there's Patreon. I'm once again going to switch the Patreon cards. If you are a patron and been wondering about that, I did post a video to Patreon explaining why and when I skipped those cards. Otherwise, I'm Jimmy Snow. Mr. Pumpkin wasn't my father, and I'm not saying that Tommy McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't really know.